Hello and welcome to Hooting Mandrills. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Sam.
And today we're going to be talking about the cards coming to Historic and Timeless from the Avatar set that are from a number of different collections.
The ugliest bonus sheet of all time, and also some Jumpstart product and another sheet of, it's like box toppers or something. But all of it, with the exception of Soul Ring, mercifully, is coming to Arena. So
yeah, let that free and Timeless. That's fine. All right. So up first, we have Standstill, which is a pre-modern banger for 1 and a blue enchantment. When a player casts a spell, sacrifice this enchantment. If you do, each of that player's opponent draws 3 cards. So in pre-modern, you just control the board, have your little man lands, and then just sit there until they make you draw 3 cards.
Yeah, there are a lot of things you can do under a Standstill, and Legacy players have tried some of them that don't involve popping the Standstill. You don't get to do many of those things in Pre-Modern, but you will get to do those things in Historic now. You can cycle Shark Typhoon, channel Dragon Typhoon to make a dragon under this. Maybe that card's time has come. That'd be neat. There are a number of channel lands and channel cards and cycling effects that are relatively new to Magic that you do not have to cast to be affecting the board and advancing a game plan. And so you can do under the Standstill and put your opponent under more pressure to pop it, presumably into counter magic or something. Even if you didn't have counter magic when they went to pop the Standstill, because it was in the top 3 cards of your deck. Yeah, this card has a reputation for being miserable. I am kind of about it, and control decks in Historic are more about finding the way that speaks to you about being the most annoying person in the world than actually winning at Magic, especially in an Eldrazi format. But this is one that speaks to me as a way to be the most annoying person in the world, so I kind of want to try it.
I mean, I like the card. It's not the kind of thing I usually do at all, but I think it'll be funny. Historic's already so degenerate that let's just add to it, I think. All right, up next is Force of Negation. You probably know what this one does if you play Modern or Legacy or whatever. Maybe not Legacy as much, but
no,
a fair bit of play.
They play 8 forces in a lot of Legacy decks. It's usually not main deck in Legacy, usually is in Vintage. Like, in Vintage, they learned to cast Recall on their opponent's upkeep, so it wouldn't get Force of Negation. Show and Tell, you can get off the stack for 0 mana, potentially, or you can get the thing that's trying to get your Show and Tell off the stack for 0 mana. You can maybe stop the people like me who were just going Dark Ritual Necro on turn 1 with impunity. Maybe we have a little less of that. This is a positive thing for Timeless as a format. We'll talk later about an addition to Timeless that I think is probably not going to be super positive for the format, and maybe this doesn't help enough with that, but we've been waiting for this one for a while.
I think that some free stuff needs to come to Timeless,
yes.
Yeah.
The format is constantly force checking you, and
there's no force to check.
Here's a force to be checked for. Mystic Remora, Commander All-Star, 1 blue enchantment, cumulative upkeep 1, so what that means for... I'm going to test myself too. I don't really know what cumulative upkeep does either, but I think it means the first upkeep that this thing is in play, you pay 1. The next upkeep, you pay 2.
Correct.
Or the next of your upkeeps, you pay 2. The following one, you play 3.
Yes.
Okay, so at the point at which you can't or don't want to pay for it anymore, it gets sacrificed. But while it is in play, whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, you may draw a card unless that player plays 4. The answer to do you pay the 4 is no. Every non-creature spell cast by an opponent is going to draw you a card for as long as this thing is in play. It's not nearly as good in 1v1 constructed formats as it is in Commander. There are fewer players casting into it. There is less time going by before the cumulative upkeep cost goes up, but it has seen some play in old formats. It was like a flex slot relatively recently in Vintage PO. If there is like a Pixie-ish deck that can pick it back up maybe, or just in certain matchups you expect it to draw you a card or 2, maybe that's fine. I don't know. I don't
cool.
think
yeah,
it'll set the world
sort of thing
aflame,
is fun.
but...
Yeah, without 4 players, this card is certainly less good. All right, up next we have Brought Back for 2 white instant. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. I love this kind of thing. This is my jam, but I don't think this one's very good.
It's seen a little bit of Modern play. It does get permanent cards, so one of the 2 permanents can just be a fetch land and ramp yourself and get back the thing that you just sacrificed or that they just killed.
Or a bobble too, yeah. yeah, if you're in Timeless. There's lots of free things that you can get rid of and get back, I suppose.
I don't think it's going to be a huge player in Historic or Timeless, but I think it's an interesting, cool thing to have. It's the sort of thing that I like.
Strip mine back.
Yeah, I mean, you do need double white in your strip mine deck.
That might be hard.
Might be hard. This is the sort of thing I love to see off bonus sheets. It's probably not going to be a huge player, but it's a cool deck builder's tool that you look at and think about the sort of things you can do with it.
Yeah, I like it. Next up is Shattering Spree. For 1 red, replicate red, destroy target artifact. So is this better? Is Meltdown better? It's all like it's up to situations, maybe.
Neither one is ever killing a Kappa Cannoneer. Actually, that's not true. I have Meltdown for X = 6 to kill a Kappa.
There you go. That's pretty fun.
In a particularly weird game of Historic. But, you know, if you have 6 mana, you can also kill a Kappa Cannoneer with this, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, it's better against, like, the big affinity chonkers. It's worse against, like, the little affinity fodder stuff. I don't know. It's
another sideboard artifact destruction, yeah. It's in your toolbox now, potentially.
Visions of Beyond. 1 blue, instant, draw a card. If a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, draw 3 cards instead. So if you're playing mill or you're milling yourself really aggressively, maybe. Otherwise, no.
Yeah, I could see this being turned on. It doesn't seem out of the question. All right, up next we have Sundial of the Infinite. For 2, it's an artifact, 1, tap, end the turn. Activate only during your turn.
This actually does a lot of things. You see people try this in Modern from time to time. It hasn't really stuck, but it is cool. The trigger that's going to sack your Flage is on the stack. End the turn. The trigger that is going to bring back the opponent's creature that you Feliad out is on the stack. End the turn.
Those are all cute.
There is something that is going to kill you on your end step, like some sort of chance for glory effect, I think works that way. If it does, you'll see it on this slide. If it doesn't, it will be because I read it when I was trying to make this slide, and it doesn't work that way. But if it is a trigger on the end step, you just end the turn before that happens, and then you don't die. Things and stuff. Cards cool.
Mostly silliness with this one, yeah.
Lifelong Friendship is a reskin of Eladamri's Call. It's an instant creature tutor from your library to your hand for green and a white. Seen Fringe play in Modern. You know if your deck wants to find a creature or not.
Yeah, and we already have, like, Green Suns and stuff, so...
Yeah, that's true.
It's competing with stuff, yeah.
I don't know if it's seen any play in Modern since Green Sun Zenith got unbanned. Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle.
Now Scapeshift can be used for good again. So Valakut, it's a land. It enters tapped. Whenever a mountain you control enters, if you control at least 5 other mountains, you may have this land deal 3 damage to any target. So old school people would, you know, amass a bunch of lands, Scapeshift into a bunch of mountains and Valkuts. Now you can use Leyline of whatever that
of Guild
Pact, yeah.
Dryad of the Ilsengrove is on Arena also, which also turns all your lands into mountains for this purpose.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways to do, you know, very wholesome Valakut type things in Historic. Is it super bad and unplayable? Yes. But we also have Crop Rot, so, you know, that's interesting as well, I guess, with Valakut.
Yeah, Crop Rot Exploration. Never got to play that one in Modern.
And there's finally Renin 6 we got pretty recently. So that's a fun couple cards you could play in a very wholesome type Scapeshift deck. Up next, we have Dark Depths. So everybody knows Dark Depths. It's legendary snowland. It enters with 10 counters on it. You can pay 3 to remove a counter from it. You know, when it has no counters, you get a 20/20 Merit Lage. So, you know, that's kind of cool. You can Thespian stage it. You can
Vampire
Hex Mage it.
In Timeless, it is being pre-banned in Historic. I think it probably would have been good in Historic. I don't know if it would have been good in the current metagame because Merit Lage sure does just die to Kozilek's command for 0. But yeah, I don't know if it'll be great in Timeless.
Certainly fun.
It's a fun, cool thing to do. Like we just talked about, you have crop rotation. You have many effects that could
get you lands to make the combo.
We have both Urborg and Yavimaya. Those have seen some play in Legacy Lands decks to make Depths tap for mana when you're not ready to do the combo yet. Yeah, it's a cool, iconic old card, banned in Modern, and now legal in Timeless. Treetop Village is like the OG man land. It's a pretty good rate even today. It does enter tapped all the time. Taps for green, but for 1 and a green becomes a 3/3 ape.
with trample. That's pretty good, yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan of Treetop Village. I mean, it's just like that old school Magic stuff. It's a cool land. It's not the best card in the world, but it's fun.
I could certainly see it being a card I was interested in some green decks over, say, Lair of the Hydra in that sort of manland spot.
Yeah, I mean, Lair is sometimes entering tapped, probably because you have to play so many abuse lands in the green decks anyway. Maybe not.
Yeah, Lair is definitely better in Green Devotion or decks like that just can produce a zillion mana to shove into it.
Yeah.
Maybe like a landfall scalesy deck that is like putting counters on things. Sort of where I would envision this going. You can turn it on relatively cheap, do some of your stuff that needs a creature, and maybe it's good. I don't know. It's cool to have. Enlightened Tutor. This is not being pre-banned in Historic. You get to play Enlightened Tutor in your Enchantress deck if you want to. Enlightened Tutor has never been as good as Mystical Tutor, which is being pre-banned, but white instant, search your library for an artifact or enchantment, reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. So
card disadvantage.
Yeah.
You get the right one.
Yes. Card disadvantage, but card selection, and if top of your deck manipulation matters, maybe playing some sort of Duskmourn's Claim deck. This puts
fun.
This
13 damage
finds
or
the
something.
Duskmourn's Claim or finds the technically mana value 13 room that you want to try to kill them with.
That's pretty cooked, but that's pretty fun. Yeah, I like this card. I guess it's not a problem in Historic, but maybe it is. We'll find out.
I don't know.
Does this bring Solemnity to the fucking top? I don't know.
I doubt it. Can't be better for the Solemnity combo than United Battlefront was, right? Like that's actual card advantage.
Now you get both, I guess. Yeah.
It might be a card you'd want to play in a deck like that. You also just have other enchantment tutors. There's the one that gives Shroud, but then can also pop itself to either Enlightened Tutor or just Tutor for an enchantment you want. Unlike Mystical Tutor, this doesn't sound a fire alarm in my brain. It's more of a cool card, but it's a card you don't get to play with in Modern and sees some Legacy play. I think in Legacy it sees play in like Nick Fit or something. Some like weird fringy decks that I think we don't have pieces for on Arena because they're very old.
Yeah, they're not going to print every weird old card into Arena. But this is a weird old card that they're printing into Arena, so have fun with this one, I suppose. Next up is Mystical Tutor. So this one is 1 blue, search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, shuffle, and put it on top. So yeah, pre-banned in Historic, probably for the best.
Banned in Legacy still. I don't think Mystical Tutor sees a ton of vintage play, but it is a powerful sort of thing. It is like these others, card disadvantage, but it finds the most broken type of thing.
Would you play blue-black for a Necro deck for this for any reason? I mean, you could just play Demonic Tutor if you really needed a card.
Blue-black might end up being the way to quote-unquote fair Necro because you can dig for Force of Negation.
Right.
And this can obviously find Force of Negation if that's what you need. You can also just
pitch
overdraw
to it
and pitch
case.
Cards to Psychic Frog to when you over Necro. People have done that with Necro Dominance in Modern.
That's interesting.
I don't know that that's the thing you do with this card. I think this is more like a combo card,
thing.
And if your deck wants to find
this,
particular instant or sorceries bad enough to go down a card to find them. Maybe Show and Tell does.
Yeah, I was thinking probably Show and Tell. This is just 4 more copies of Show and Tell. Obviously, Show and Tell is a turn 1 thing now with Ancient Tomb and Mox. But yeah, sometimes you don't get to do your Show and Tell on turn 1, I guess. So sometimes you have to do it on turn 2. There's a Mystical Tutor. That's 4 more copies of Show and Tell.
It's pretty rare for Show and Tell to have Chromox Imprint, Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, Omni, Payoff. That's like
the whole
6
hand,
cards.
yeah.
That's
The London
6 cards.
Mulligan can't save you.
Yeah. The London Mulligan is better at finding land Dark Ritual Necro than it is at finding, that exact sequence. But yeah, this card, I could definitely see Show and Tell playing it, although I am by no means a Show and Tell expert.
Or fan. All right, up next is a card that we're all worried about for the Timeless format, and it is called Entomb for 1 black.
Banned yesterday in Legacy at the time of recording.
Search your library for a card, put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle at an instant speed. So I'm guessing you guys can figure out why this is a problem.
All the pieces they tried to ban to save Entomb from the Rescaminator deck, Grief and Frog and
Khazad-dûm. Entomb.
Yeah, those are there in...
And now you have Force of Negation, too.
Yeah, so you can play Force of Negation, and even with Force of Negation, there's still less than there was to stop you on the other side, and at a certain point, who cares if there's stuff to stop you, because you're maybe the best grief deck. I am worried about this one. I kind of wish it wasn't coming to Timeless.
Do you think a restriction would be enough, too?
If they end up having to restrict Entomb, it becomes much harder to play that deck.
Yeah.
And the thing that they sort of dance around talking about is that the Reanimate package is sort of just 10 cards. You know, you play 4 Entomb, 4 Reanimate, Atraxa. In Legacy it was Archon, but it could be any giant idiot that kind of wins the game when it comes down. So that's 10 cards. The Trolls are sort of just part of your mana base.
And Frog is just value.
Yeah, the rest of the cards, Tameo, Psychic Frog.
Just like cards that should be banned in Legacy.
Tameo, Psychic Frog, you know, Wasteland, in this case Strip Mine, but, you know, that's worse, are all just normal, powerful things to be doing. And then the deck can sometimes just beat you through a Leyline or through Graveyard Hate, which we don't have Fairy Macabre in Timeless. Can main deck Surgical Extraction, I guess.
That may have to be a thing. I mean, its energy is kind of bad in Timeless, or is it okay?
Energy comes and goes.
Because that would be the second deck that you would really want Surgical for, right? Against the Phlages, or...
Yeah, I mean, Energy has, like, Lurrus variants and then bigger Phlage variants. Surgical is okay as a way to back up discard spells against Show and Tell, because surgically extracting Show and Tell stops them from winning the game, typically.
It's going to be hard for them to get all that mana.
You do need to resolve a Thoughtseize or a Grief against them first. Surgical is a pretty prominent card in the format. It's not insane that it would go into main decks. I was not thinking that it was a thing that I should be doing. Now I'm thinking maybe it is, if I want to be playing something other than Rescaminator, or maybe even if I do want to be playing Rescaminator, because this deck dominated Legacy for a really long time through multiple bans, none of which apply to the Timeless format.
We'll see. Yeah, that seems scary. Up next, we have Worldly Tutor. For 1 green, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, shuffle, and put it on top. It's an instant, obviously. Is there something to be doing with this? That's...
I mean, we already had Sylvan Tutor. It didn't do a ton. Sylvan Tutor is a sorcery, which is
worse.
The thing that I tried Sylvan Tutors in was a Duskmourn's Claim deck, where I was trying to have the option to Shadow Mortality on top, 15U. It's certainly better at instant speed if you're trying to do that sort of thing. I don't think this card is gonna make huge waves, but it is here. If you spent wild cards on Sylvan Tutor...
Get got, nerd.
Yeah, sucks to suck. Cloudshift is, I believe, new to Arena. I am not actually sure. It might be on the client already. If you want copies 5 through 8 of Ephemerate, this does half of that.
At home, yeah. Last but not least, we have Frantic Search with a cute picture of Momo on it. It's 2 and a blue. This card is not cute. Luckily banned in the historic format. Instant, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, untap up to 3 lands. So, yeah, just a completely ridiculous card.
It's banned in Legacy. There are a few slots you gotta fill in Rescaminator. I don't know if this is the card you want to be playing in Timeless Reanimator decks. I think you want the game to be over before anyone has 3 lands in play in those decks, because you yourself are a
I mean, that's like turn
pile.
18, right? Because everybody's just strip mining each other. Games rarely last that long, but yeah.
It might have to be more of like a Breach Storm combo deck that would really want this in Timeless, but like that's another thing that's banned in Legacy that you sure can play in Timeless. If it had been legal in Historic, it would just be an obvious slot into the Lotus Breach deck there. Maybe you can do like Lotus Field type stuff in Timeless. Lotus Field does not get got by Strip Mine. It has hexproof. I don't know exactly what this card does, but
no good.
Rarely any good. It is kinda nutty.
Yeah, this is a ridiculous card. Okay, I think that's all of our cards.
Yep, I think that is everything from the various Eternal product. See you in the next one for the set proper. Like, comment, subscribe.